My name is Hannah Curtis. I joined Dune about 3 months ago. I'm the head of the product team, and I'm very excited to be at Dune because I have basically three passions in my career that I've developed over the years. One is blockchain data, one is collaborative communities, and the other is making data accessible, which are coincidentally exactly Dune's missions. And so I'm very excited to be here. It's an amazing team, and we've been building some cool stuff. So I'm going to take you through that today. I'm going to start with highlights since the last DuneCon, give you a quick journey of what we've built over the last year. Spend most of the time talking about four very exciting announcements of new things that we're launching that we're exciting to tell you about today. And then finally, a little bit of a peek into what's coming next. All right. So jumping into highlights since last DuneCon. I wanted to take a look at how the community has grown and developed and the activity that's been building on the Dune platform over the last year since we were all together in 2022. And by the way, can I see a show of hands of who was here at the last DuneCon? Nice, nice. It's good to see you all. Welcome back. I actually was not at the last DuneCon, but so I'll raise my hand for the next one. I guess who here is new to DuneCon this year? Nice. Good 50-50, I think. So if you look at this chart, if I get out of the way, this is the queries created over time, which is one way of looking at how much activity, how much we're all doing on the Dune platform. We can see just beautiful growth, more and more activity, more and more insights and questions and things that we need to ask and answer of the data on Dune. This little line here was last DuneCon, and we can see that we've all come a very long way since then. So it's been quite a journey. I'm excited next year to look at this slide again. So a couple things. I won't spend too long on this because I think we might all be familiar with it at this point, but quick journey of where we've been. First of all, we launched Dune SQL, which is the fastest, most powerful, and convenient query engine for crypto data. Another thing we've launched fairly recently that we're excited about is materialized views. This is an opportunity to take what would be an extremely complex and burdensome, complicated query that takes a long time to run, chunk it out, save a portion of that query, and then be able to build off of that. Can I see show of hands? Anybody use materialized views yet? Nice, nice, good. Another thing I wanted to highlight is our data uploads feature. So, the blockchain data is very powerful. There's a lot of amazing information on the blockchain, and that's all available on Dune. But there's so much more contextual data that's orbiting around the blockchain data, and that has value too, and that needs to be joined up with the blockchain data. And data uploads was the first step to let you be able to bring your data onto the Dune platform and use it with the blockchain data. So curious, anybody use data uploads yet? All right, good, good. We also worked on some innovations for teams. We know that you don't just work by yourself, but you work with your team on Dune, and we want you to be able to have an environment where you and your team can collaborate together, work together well. So a couple of things we launched, folders feature so that you can group your work and your team's work and keep things organized really well. We also launched scheduling features so that you can schedule your queries and your dashboards and be able to have updated information at the time you need it. And then finally, new pricing plans so that you can add people to your team without needing to have to pay for new seats. We want to encourage collaboration and encourage people to work together. We also, of course, are a blockchain analytics company, so we can't talk about what we've done without talking about the blockchains that we've added. We have launched over the past year almost 100% more chains than we had this time last year. That includes Bitcoin, Celo, Base. We also launched Solana decoding and some innovations for decoding that lets us now take contracts and decode them within a matter of minutes rather than days. And finally, some new innovations to take where we are now and move even farther forward. One is a CRUD API, so now you can create, read, update, and archive your queries programmatically with the API. And then maybe a very exciting new technology that we've been able to jump in and start leveraging right away is Dune AI with our Dune AI wand feature. which lets you create queries just by asking a question of the AI. It lets you update those queries and debug your query. If something's wrong with your query, you don't have time or knowledge, or you're stuck on fixing it, the AI can take care of it for you and update your query. Has anyone had a chance to use the wand feature yet? Okay, some good ones, but I'm excited for those of you who haven't seen it yet and played around with it, because I'm going to show you what's next along the lines of AI at Dune, which is perfect segue. I'm going to stop talking about what we've done over the past year and talk about what we're doing right now, what we're launching here today at DuneCon with 4 very exciting announcements. So first up, with Dune AI, we are taking what we've started with the Dune wand, where in the query editor, you can use the AI kind of as your co-pilot to launch a new section of the website, a new part of the app where you can just have a conversation with the AI and be able to just get your query, get the answers to your questions without even having to know what SQL is at all. This is amazing. I know we're a room full of wizards here, probably the strongest SQL skills, the strongest Dune skills ever. But, there's still room to just ask AI to write the query for you. Or I think if we think about the universe of people who have a question that needs blockchain data to answer the question, compared to the universe of people who know SQL, it's many more people with a question than who know SQL. And if we think about the people who know SQL, compared to the people who know Dune really well, know the tables really well, and the structure and the syntax, that is an even smaller bucket of people. And so you in this room are that small bucket of experts in Dune and SQL, and you probably get called upon a lot to answer other people's questions. And you're very generous with your time. You answer those questions, but now you can direct them to the AI and they can get those answers for themselves. You also maybe don't have the time or just the knowledge of all the Dune tables to put the SQL together yourself, so you can just ask a question and move on with your day. So I'm going to show you a little bit more about what we're talking about here and start the video. We're going to hope all the permissions worked out and the tech worked out. All right. So this is the AI new interface. Let's give it up for the AI team for building this. Absolutely amazing and exciting. You can ask what you want it to know, find out. We give you some example prompts to get you started with the types of questions that you might want to ask and get answered. So I'm going to go ahead and here ask about the weekly ZK Sync transactions over the last year. So I'm going to ask the question and ask the AI to go figure that out for me. So what the AI does is it runs through all of the thousands of tables on Dune and figures out what tables need to answer this question, and then builds the SQL query for me. While it's building it, it's doing the filtering, the joining, the wheres, the group bys, all of that. Finally, runs the query for me. Depending on the size of the data, this could take a while, but at least you're not having to do anything. Then here we go. We've got by week, the transaction volume, and I can see this here in a table format. We let you know how long it took to do all that. We also give you a confidence score because this is probabilistic, and we want to give you a score of how good we think the AI did at getting you the answer you were looking for. And we give you a chance to rate the results. So if this was exactly what you wanted, let us know. If it wasn't, let us know. And as a collaborative community, we can work together to improve the AI and iterate over time. Now, obviously, a table is not going to really give me the information I need. You got to visualize your data. So I'm going to switch this to a line chart, and now I have my answer of ZK Sync transaction volumes over time. All right. So right now, you didn't have to know that SQL is a thing at all, but if you want to then move further in this, you can go ahead back into the query editor and maybe check the logic, make sure that the SQL is what you would want it to be, or maybe learn like, okay, zksync.transactions is the right table to use for this. Maybe learn about the syntax for the where clause or something like that so you can develop your SQL skills or tweak it from here. So this is the first example. This is relatively simple. I want to move on and show you another example that takes it to the next level and also gives you a peek into where we're going with this. So let's start the next video, please. All right, so in this one, I'm going to ask another question. In this case, I want to know what are the latest 100 NFT trades. I'm also curious to know kind of specifically the USD value of those trades. And then I'm also curious to know if what the ENS name is of the buyer, if there is one. So if the buyer also has an ENS name, I want to check that out. So I'm going to find out. Again, it's looking up the tables, generating the SQL, running the query. In all of these cases, I was prepared for the demo to kind of speed up my screen so you didn't have to watch in real time as it happened. But turns out it's all running quite quickly. So that's very exciting, and huge kudos to the engineers for this. Actually, let's give them a round of applause, please. I will say sometimes it might take a little while, and I would say remind yourself that it's doing the work instead of you having to do the work. So just get a coffee and chill, check your email. All right. So now I have the results of my query. We've got the unique trade ID for the NFT trades. It gave me the USD amount, which I wanted, the buyer address, and then if there's an ENS name associated with it, I got that too. Now, what I'm about to show you is the SQL to give you a taste of kind of the more complex query, and then also show you a hint of kind of where we're going in the next iteration. So you see here, it found NFT trades and also understood that I needed to join with the ENS data to get both of those. It figured out which fields were the keys to join on. It then, give the kind of order by and the fields and all of that good stuff. Now, what we want to do next is take this into a more conversational place, because you have a question, you get an answer, you're not usually done. You usually need to ask a next question and move on from there. So this you can do in the SQL editor today. In the future, we're working on that conversational mode right in that Dune AI natural query area. But I want to add collection to this. I noticed that the collection was missing from the initial results, so I've asked it to add collection. It's now edited the query. It's added the field I want. If that field needed to come from another table, it would add that table, do that extra join. It also, well, let that run, not get ahead of it. All right, so I've asked for collection. I'm going to scroll over here and see that I have collection now. Now that's great, but now I realize, okay, there's some fields in here that are a bit noisy that I don't care about. There's also, some recent trades that don't have ENS names, and I kind of just want to see what are all the recent trades that do have ENS names, because I'm curious about, who those are. So I'm going to go ahead and continue my conversation with the AI and ask it to show me just the fields I want. So I want the ENS name, the collection, and the sum of the USD amount, just the USD per collection per buyer. And then I also want it to show me only the top trades where an ENS name actually exists. So I'm going to type this out. As I was writing this, I think I still was writing it in a SQL mind where I gave it this like ENS underscore name. I also said like some USD value because I was just like thinking in SQL mode. But I think actually if you just ask in even more plain text, the AI understands it and generates the query for you. All right, so this is running. It's about to update the data, and we're going to see now it switched. It gave me name, and then because I said ENS name, it renamed it for me because it assumed I wanted it renamed, which is actually a nice touch. It aggregated it. It gave me my where clause, where the ENS name is not null. It gave me the group by, everything I need in my query to get those final results. So I'm going to leave it at this. From here, I hope this gives you an idea of how you can get these results and then move on to build your dashboard, do the next things you want to do, or just keep asking questions of the data and get to answers much faster than you would have otherwise. So that is the first thing that I wanted to show you guys today, Dune AI. Let's give it up. If you want to know more about this, we have a workshop later today, workshop 3 upstairs. Definitely go check it out and get to play around with it more, ask your questions. Next up, I want to tell you about the Dune Data Hub. So far on Dune, the activity has mainly happened around our app, and the activity is mainly around Dune data itself and blockchain data itself. With the Dune Data Hub, as I mentioned earlier, there's a universe of data that orbits around the blockchain data, and we want to be in the flow of that data, whether it's in your environment or your data in Dune. We want to make it as easy as possible for you to just have the data where you need it and plug Dune in at any point. So with the Dune Data Hub, we're announcing tools that do just that. We have both the import side and the export side of the Data Hub, where if you have your data and you want it on Dune, you can sync it to Dune. If you have your data, complex environment, and you just need Dune's data in your environment, you can export it to your environment. So let me start with the exports. So Dune Data Exports is answering this need of any of you who might have complex environments. Maybe you're a protocol, a Web3 project, a financial institution. You have a ton of data internally. You have complex processes and procedures that are already happening there. Maybe a number of tools that you're already working with that you like to work with, and you want the blockchain data pumping into that. And you're not a blockchain shop. You don't want to do all of that yourself. Plus, there's so much more aggregated and interesting data on Dune that you couldn't get yourself in any other way. So now we're announcing a capability to be able to use Dune Data Hub data exports to take that data. We put it in S3 for you, give you a URL, and you can start just regularly syncing that data into your applications. So this is something that we've heard a number of requests from people to be able to do. It's a huge need. We're very excited to be able to offer that today. On the import side, it's a similar thing. You've got your data, you've got the blockchain data, you want to join it together. But in this case, you don't want to have to manage all of the blockchain data, even coming from Dune. And maybe you have data that you want to bring to the community. You're maybe trying to make it available to the community yourself, but it's lacking the context of the blockchain data. It's just, it's missing some pieces. So what we're introducing is Dune Data Syncs, the ability to import your data into Dune on a regular basis, and then be able to query it, build dashboards off of it, join it with other data sets, collaborate with the community over all of this data together on the Dune platform. So far, we've already connected to S3, Airtable, Postgres, MySQL, Redshift, Amplitude, Google BigQuery. There's more connectors available. And so wherever your data is sitting, we can very easily, I don't want to undersell that, the engineers work very hard, but we can bring it into the Dune environment and have it updating very regularly into Dune. So far, we've already integrated this and have live syncs going with Flashbots, Snapshot, DefinedFi, and Farcaster. And I'm going to actually go ahead and tell you a little bit more about the Farcaster example because it's very cool. If you guys are not familiar, Nanar is a hub of the Farcaster network. The Farcaster network is a fully decentralized social network that gives ownership of the relationship between consumer and creator in these social networks directly into the hands of the consumer. It has amazing data, and it's a combination of off-chain data and on-chain data. The on-chain data we're all familiar with. The off-chain data is the social network data, the likes, the shares, the followers, the reactions. And this data in the Farcaster network is decentralized. It is peer-to-peer, but it's not on a blockchain. So it's not in Dune in the traditional sense. With data syncs, we now have Farcaster data on Dune joining up with the Dune data, and it's just absolutely magical to be able to do in seconds or minutes what would have taken a lot of munging and work to connect two disparate data sets on not on the platform. So you've got your usernames, your followers, your comments, likes, and reactions from the Farcaster social data. On-chain, you've got your transaction volumes, the on-chain activity of the network. You can join it together. There's this amazing pixel hack dashboard that you can go check out today. And also this data is all available. You can go start playing around with it and build your own dashboards and do your own analyses. So let's give it up for the data syncs. If you want to know more about this, we have a workshop, getting the most out of Dune, data uploads on Dune. It's at 12 o'clock, so definitely go check that out and figure out how you can upload your data to Dune or play with the amazing data that is on Dune through this feature. All right. As I said before, we can't be a blockchain data company and not talk about the new blockchains that we're adding. We're very excited to introduce that we now have Zora on Dune. Zora is the culture layer of Ethereum, and we're very excited to bring their data front and center for our community. We can't wait to see the insights that this integration unlocks and what you guys do with the data. I love this quote from Tyson, who said, "With this partnership, we will undoubtedly foster greater insights into how Zora is shaping the landscape of decentralized creative economies." You may have already heard about this one, but we also have ZK Sync Era live on Dune. ZK Sync is cutting-edge ZK rollup technology that brings fresh dimension of growing L2 on-chain activity to the Dune ecosystem. And its unique ability to scale Ethereum transactions seamlessly very much ensures a treasure trove of insights waiting to be explored. And we have another wonderful quote. "Dune has cemented itself as the go-to data and analytics platform in crypto. And with this integration, we are excited to see the insights." I shouldn't look here and then look there. We are excited to see the insights and fascinating trends that will be uncovered by Dune across ZK Era's rapidly growing ecosystem that's transforming the Ethereum Layer 2 landscape. So, we've got ZK Sync and Zora. Let's get a key. Right? The last of the main announcements that we have for you today are operational workflows with webhooks and alerts. This one is another one that I'm very excited to see what happens, what you guys do with this capability. Basically, it's one thing to have dashboards that you have to go check, that you have to remember to look at and see if anything happened that you need to take action on. It's very much on you to not miss something, and if you're on vacation or sleeping or just busy with other things, something could happen that you missed that you should have jumped on and you didn't. And in the world of crypto that moves so fast and changes constantly, this is something that we actually want the data to be in our flow rather than us having to be in the data's flow. So with alerts, you can set up an email notification that can trigger on a scheduled query and keep you up to date and monitoring the metrics that you care about most. With webhooks, you can easily integrate Dune into other workflows and apps outside of Dune. So I'm going to give you a couple examples. For those of you who aren't familiar, Blockworks Research is a powerful crypto research platform that brings research, data, tokenomics, governance, and models in one place. And Dan from Blockworks said that with alerts, Dune could easily be an on-chain notification hub, given how customizable a query can be. I love the idea of being an on-chain notification hub, and so I'm very excited to see what comes out of that. We also have Theia. If you're not familiar, Theia is a hedge fund conducting fundamental research on the blockchain. They use alerts extensively in their investment process to manage both their portfolio and their investment pipeline. And they give us a couple examples of how they need to use alerts. So for one, say they run a model on synthetics in May 2023, and they decide that they like it at 15x earnings. They need to have a way of automatically keeping track of that so that they can see when synthetics is trading up or down on that. Is there a way to have the speaker notes scroll? I have too many notes on this one. Philippe from Theia gave us several other examples of cases where if the price goes above 50% on something or below 25%, then they need to be able to act accordingly. So the example, thank you, is they need to know if Unibot is trading above 50% market share in trading fees or below 25%. Another example they gave is they need to know how the perps market is evolving on Arbitrum, stay up to date with real-time update. They also need to keep track of dozens of other fundamental indicators based on the custom models and data pipelines. And so Philippe summed it up perfectly here, saying that incorporating Dune's upcoming alerts feature will enable them to manage their investment process more efficiently and provide real-time notifications on key indicators so they can take action on those, all on Dune, their favorite underwriting environment. So that is notifications and alerts. And if you're interested in learning more about these and starting to figure out how you can incorporate these into your workflows, we have a workshop right after this at 11:05 in the breakout spaces. So that is the fourth announcement. So I'm going to move on and tell you a little bit more about what's coming next, what we're working on next as we continue to think about what the ecosystem need, what we all need as data analysts and collaborators on Dune, and go onward in this journey to hopefully a more vibrant market as time goes on. First up, balances. So many cases require analysis of the address's current and historical balance. Balances provide valuable insights into the dynamics of a token's ecosystem, its usage, and its potential impact on shareholders. And this has been a highly requested data set, and the absence of really good balances data has been a significant pain point. We feel it ourselves, and we definitely hear it from you. So we're very excited that to announce that balances data is very soon coming. We've got the ETH ERC20 balances on its way. We've got the rest of ERC20s across chains, the native assets of those chains, and NFTs on all EVM chains. So hopefully this will save you guys a lot of time and strife. Let's give it up for the engineers on this one, please. We also have so much incredible content on Dune, from the dashboards and the queries and the data sets and the teams and the wizards. And it's often overwhelming and very difficult to be able to find what you're looking for and really mine all of the rich assets that are on Dune. So if you already know what you're looking for and you want to get there, we want to help you get there faster. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you want to discover insights that are lurking in the Dune community, we want to help you discover the insights that you're looking for as well. So stay tuned for some updates to search and discoverability in the coming weeks and months. Yes, let's clap. Show some love for search and discoverability. Finally, we really want you to be able to amplify your team and use Dune as your platform to reach the crypto community through Dune. It's a place where the crypto community comes together to understand the ecosystem. And we want you to be able to show your project on Dune, put your best foot forward with your team profile, elevate your presence in the community, and be able to really kind of work with the Dune community. So we are building features to let you amplify your team and be able to have your profile and be able to really showcase your work in a much more tailored way, and no need to merge PRs to get your profile page on Dune or have that hidden away. So stay tuned for that as well. So I'll leave you just with a quick reminder of what we talked about today. We've got our Dune AI, which is out now that you can go log on, play with it, and learn, and the AI learns as you work with it. So we'll just build on this technology together for a very exciting future where robots take over the world. We have our Dune Data Hub, where you can bring data in, take data out of Dune at your need, maybe do both depending on the use case. We have Zora and ZK Sync live on Dune, and we have webhooks and alerts so that the data can come to you at the time you need it, rather than you needing to remember to go check it out regularly. And with that, I hope you enjoy the rest of DuneCon. Thank you so much for being here. Talk to you later.